What is going on, Nav Nation? Welcome back to another video. So, it's been quite a while since we've had a market discussion here on the channel, and it's been even longer, I think, since we've had an investment discussion. Well, good for you guys today. You're going to get both. You're going to get the market discussion and the investment talk wrapped all into one. Essentially, what I want to accomplish here today is give you guys my current buy, hold, and selling strategies for particular products and cards based upon market indicators that I'm seeing in the current Pokemon market that are prompting me into these decisions. Now, this is something that I'd like to do perhaps on a monthly basis, give you guys not just some of the things that are going on in the current Pokemon market, but why these particular things have an impact on the investing aspect of Pokemon. And you guys will see today, there's even things that have come to my attention and things that I've become more privy to, perhaps over the last 6 months or even a year, that have really changed my outlook and perspective on investing in Pokemon cards, both individual cards, graded cards, sealed products, and the like. So we'll jump into all that here today, and like I said, I'm going to probably make this a monthly discussion just to give you guys an idea on what is giving me the indicators to do certain things, to buy, hold, and sell. So let's jump into the first one here for the buys. Now, this is probably what most people are interested in. What should I buy right now? Now, the indicator in the market that has prompted me into these two particular products, as you guys might know, on April 14th, the Pokemon Company had its standard rotation for the competitive play arena, which moved out all cards with a deregulation mark. So all of the cards, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of a particular Pokemon card, at least over recent years, it does have the regulation mark on there where you can find those indicators. And all cards with a deregulation mark are now being rotated out of competitive play within the metagame. And this includes the following sets. So pay attention to this. Sword and Shield base set, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Champion's Path, Vivid Voltage, and Shining Fates. All of these sets are now being rotated out of competitive play. And you may be asking yourself, well, PokéNav, why does this really matter? Why does this matter to the market? Why does this matter to anything in regards to investing? Well, the important aspect of this is that what we have found is that when Pokemon goes through its rotation and particular sets are rotated out of competitive play, they are also less inclined, or we find that there is a much less probability that these particular sets get manufactured and or reprinted by the Pokemon Company. So what does that mean? That means that the sets that I just listed to you now have a much, much lower probability of being reprinted, which means what's out there is more than likely out there. Now, you might have seen some other videos on this recently. Our man Mason from Cardinal Gaming just put out a video on this, talking about what has been rotated out and what could potentially be rotated out within the very near future. But we'll get to that here in just a second. And again, this is what's prompting my particular buying strategies at this time. Now, of all of those sets that we just listed there, again, Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Champion's Path, Vivid Voltage, and Shining Fates. Out of all of those sets, the two products that I think are a great buy at this time is Vivid Voltage booster boxes and Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes. Now you may be asking yourself, well, PokéNav, why those particular products? Are those the best sets from this lineup? Yes and no. I would say of all of those listed, Champion's Path is right up there as well. You had the two Charizards from Champion's Path. We really haven't seen any reprints of Champion's Path in a long, long time. But what's more important than in this case, and this is where you have to differentiate between, what is the overall best, set that might be rotated out to where is the best opportunity at this time given the current market conditions. So of all of those sets that I just listed to you, let's start with Sword and Shield base set. Now, Sword and Shield base hasn't seen any new products in a long time, but it's not really a good opportunity right now because those booster boxes are already well over $200. We move on to Rebel Clash. Rebel Clash, Horrible set. But still, the booster boxes are over $200. We have Darkness Ablaze. Now, we still have some Darkness Ablaze products on the open market. But again, I don't think that Darkness Ablaze really measures up to Shining Fates and Vivid Voltage. To me, these are the two best sets from this particular lineup in the deregulation. And then Champion's Path. You know, Champion's Path ETBs, again, those are sitting at around $100 a box. So when you really start to look at it, where is the opportunity? Vivid Voltage booster boxes are still at or under MSRP right now. But what you'll see is since we've had this rotation, they've slowly started creeping up. And that is where a lot of people start to realize the likelihood of these getting reprinted are super low. Now you can still find Elite Trainer boxes of Vivid Voltage out on the open market, even on Pokemon Center at MSRP. But again, the booster boxes themselves, you're gonna find very, very difficult. You know, you're not gonna find those in your Targets, your Walmarts. You're not gonna find it on Pokemon Center. And so the fact that you can get something like a booster box, which is typically, if there is a booster box and an Elite Trainer box in a set, the booster box is typically the better choice. You can still get those for under MSRP, at or under MSRP. And of all of the products that I just listed to you, I really think that is probably the best opportunity right now is Vivid Voltage booster boxes, because you can still pick them up at or under MSRP. And I think that probably has the best long-term value of any of the sets that you can pick up right now. Because remember, you've heard on this channel a lot more than the expected value in the future. I really like to focus on my cost basis. What am I able to pick it up at versus along with its estimated future return, right? So I like to focus on those as well. And the fact that you can get a Vivid Voltage booster box right now for at or under MSRP, I think that is probably the best option. So I am personally on the hunt for cases of Vivid Voltage booster boxes. So hey, if you're watching this video and you have some, feel free to reach out to me. I'm looking on all the different resources right now. I'm also going to some of the distributors and some of the LGSs that I know to see if they have any in stock, because I personally am going to be loading up on Vivid Voltage booster boxes, because I think right now that is probably one of the best buys. Right behind that, I think, is the Shining Fates Elite Trainer box. So out of this era, for me personally, I think that Shining Fates was probably the best set from this deregulation block. However, I think that the booster box for Vivid Voltage is probably the better buy right now, because there's still a lot of Shining Fates out there. You can still find it on Pokemon Center. You can still find it on TCG Player at, at or under MSRP. But there's still a lot out there, so you still have time. Whereas a Vivid Voltage booster box, those I think are going to go very, very fast now that we've rotated out of the deregulation. So right below that would be the Shining Fates ETB. I think is a great buy right now. In fact, I've actually delisted some of my Shining Fates ETBs off of my website, off of TCG Player, because I'm actually going to just be holding on to those, and I'm actually looking to buy more. So I'm looking to get actual cases of Shining Fates ETB, probably buy more off of Pokemon Center and try to find those for under MSRP in case form as well. So those are my buys right now for the current Pokemon market. I would say Vivid Voltage booster box number 1, Shining Fates Elite Trainer box is number 2. Now there's a lot of videos that have talked about similar things to this, and a lot of the time all they're doing is just going through the lineup, right, from Sword and Shield base all the way to Shining Fates, and just basically saying buy everything. And I don't really agree with that. I don't agree that just because all of these have gone out of rotation that everything in there is a good buy right now. I don't. I want to find the best buy where I'm going to create the largest margin and the best appreciation over the long term, right? And I think that the Vivid Voltage booster box, Shining Fates ETB, probably the best 2 products from this block that is now being rotated. So that is our buys for today. I should say, you can do whatever you want, but those are my personal buys. Those are the things that I'm looking to buy right now. And again, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, because that's a long-term time horizon. If you watch other videos out there, they'll probably tell you that, if you held it for a year, that's a long-term. But trust me, folks, that's not a long-term time horizon. We're holding these things for typically 3 to 5 years before we actually want to do something with them. So moving on, we're gonna move on to the holds right now. So we talked about the sets that have gone out of rotation now. Well, guess what? Next up on the chopping block is E, all of the cards with the E regulation mark. Now, typically Pokemon rotates their sets around the World Championship timeframe, so August, September timeframe. However, because of COVID and because we didn't have any World Championships, they pushed last year, what would normally have been last year's rotation, to April so that people could play those sets more and they could be involved in the World Championship Series, right? So it got pushed out. But it's very likely that we'll see another rotation in August or September, right around the next World Championship Series. So this means that all those in the E block are, no pun intended, next on the chopping block, right? And this includes Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Celebrations, Fusion Strike, and Brilliant Stars. These could all be rotated, literally, within the next 4 to 5 months, all of these sets. Now, the first inclination for most people watching this video would be, oh, well, it's obvious. You got to hold Evolving Skies. Well, here's my take on it, right? I think that if there is any likelihood that Pokemon reprints products, then it's probably going to be English products, right? We've already seen how much of a disaster the Japanese market has been, the manufacturing crisis that they're in, the shortage that they're in for products. I think that if the Pokemon Company is going to reprint products, there is a much higher likelihood that they reprint Evolving Skies versus the Japanese equivalent, which, as you guys know, is Eevee Heroes, right? And just so you know, as a little side note here, the regulation marks are the same for the Japanese equivalent as they are for the English. So Eevee Heroes is also within that E regulation or that E block. So for me personally, when I look at it, and I think if there's any likelihood that Pokemon's going to reprint, it's going to reprint Evolving Skies before we get any kind of reprint for Eevee Heroes. And so based upon that information, right now, my two holds on products, if you have these in your possession, I have them in my possession. My holds right now, number one is the Eevee Heroes Evolutions box set. People thought I was crazy when I picked this up when it first came out for over $400. People told me up and down. I got absolutely reamed in the comment section on videos for picking up those box sets for over that price. They said, you're making a horrible decision. These are going to get reprinted. They're going to reprint the alternate art that's in there. And they did. They did, in fact, reprint that. And this product is just going to go down. And what we found is it never did. It never got reprinted. So picking that up at $400, now this Evolutions box set is well over $1,000 on the secondary market. You get 2 booster boxes of Eevee Heroes in here. I mean, it's a great, great collector's piece. It's a great investment piece, and it has certainly panned out that way. The likelihood that this is going to get reprinted is super, super low. However, it's at a really high price point right now. Same thing with Eevee Heroes booster boxes. Well over $300 at this point. I think even encroaching upwards of $400. It's crazy. I was actually looking back through my archive of my stories on Instagram, and I'll show you this particular story right here. And this was a picture that I had taken when I was packing up Eevee Heroes booster boxes for the members of PokéRealm. And I look back at that and I say, you idiot, you should have kept them for yourself. But you know what? PokéRealm, it helped out a lot of people. And for those of you out there who are members of PokéRealm, they got those booster boxes and or booster packs, you're sitting very, very well right now. And with that being said, that's where I say these two products, I believe, are a hold at this time because the price points are high. Now, are they going to go up? More than likely, unless, like I said, we do get a reprint. But again, I think there is a much less likelihood that you'll get a reprint on Eevee Heroes versus Evolving Skies. I think that if Pokemon does have that period before Evolving Skies potentially gets rotated, I think that there's still a decent likelihood that they will reprint it because it is so popular. Prices are getting pretty out of control, so there is that possibility that they'll reprint Evolving Skies well before they ever reprint Eevee Heroes and these two products, the booster box and the Evolutions box set. So those are my two holds right now. If you guys pick those up early on, I would hold on to them, because when you look at the graphs for both of these products, they have seen really steady increases over time, really organic growth, and that's what you want to see for a product. And when you see that really smooth growth curve, that's an indication that you want to hold that product, right? You don't see any sharp declines and any sharp gains. That's a product that you would want to hold and just kind of sit on over time. So those are my two hold recommendations. That's what I'm doing right now personally. I'm going to be sitting on these products and just holding them for the long term. Now, if you have plenty of them, there are some other opportunities out there that I think you can do, especially with graded packs. I think that is probably, and I think I'm going to make a whole video on this, but graded packs I think is probably one of the most overlooked aspects of the Pokemon investing world right now. When you look at the amount of graded cards out there versus graded packs, I mean, the difference and the schism between those is astronomical. So that's probably for another video, but again, if you're sitting on a lot of Eevee Heroes right now, maybe crack some of those open, get those packs graded, because it's like almost free tendies at this point. So you might be able to do that and maybe move that into even more Eevee Heroes booster boxes, or even another Evolutions box set. But that's totally up to you. But for our purposes here today, Evolutions box set and Eevee Heroes booster boxes, those are my two holds as things currently stand. Finally, we will get into sells, the things that I would recommend, the items, products, cards that I would recommend selling right now. So let's go ahead and preface this. First of all, Pokemon Japan recently put out an apology regarding the shortages of products on Pokemon Center Japan. So I've already touched on it. There's just a huge debacle right now in Japan with product shortages, and it really is just a nightmare. And I know there's a lot of people that sit on either side of the fence where they say, you know, outside of Japan, nobody should have access to the products because nobody in Japan can get it. And there's people, you know, on the other side that say, well, we want to have access to it because the cards are better, the artworks are great. There's a lot of exclusive products that we want to have access to as well. So I get it. I get people on both sides of the fence. But with a lot of what's going on right now, it is prompting a huge crisis in Japan with products, being able to manufacture products, get enough products out there just to satisfy the people in Japan. So let's go ahead and just get into this apology that Pokemon Center Japan put out. It says, regarding the status of response to shortages of Pokemon card game. Thank you for your continued patronage of our products. We are currently out of stock of all Pokemon card game products. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused to customers who are unable to purchase. Giving top priority to delivering the desired products to our customers, we will continue to strengthen our production system and promote the reproduction and shipment of products in short supply. We will continue to do our best so that everyone can enjoy the Pokemon card game. Thank you for your understanding. Now, for those of you who have been involved in Pokemon, you know, over the last few years especially, Pokemon putting out an apology is not really anything new. They've done this before. However, what is really prompting me to my decisions for selling particular products right now is, one, this apology, specifically from Pokemon Center Japan, because I don't think that they're just going to put out there, they're not just going to pay lip service, right? I think they're really going to follow up on this and do all within their power to ramp up production so that they can satisfy the demand of the consumer. We've seen this in the past. Pokemon has put out several apologies before, and they've really lived up to their word, and they followed through and found ways, whether that was, you know, contracting with Millennium Print Group, finding different ways so that we can get products out there in the rest of the world, and especially, you know, North America. And we've seen a much better atmosphere since then. Now that we're seeing a similar thing in Japan, I really think that this is a really good indication for products, the supply of products to really make a turn for the better. Along with that, we also have the newest sets. You guys already know about these. I'm not speaking anything new. The newest sets, Clayburst and Snow Hazard, have a double lottery system, whereas in the past, you only had a single lottery system. So basically, it's giving you two chances. I mean, Again, it's a lottery system, so all it's doing is giving you the opportunity, if you get selected, to buy these products, right? It's not like you're getting them for free. You get the opportunity to buy these products. However, I do like the fact that they are going to a double lottery system rather than in the past, it was like one and done. You either got it or you didn't. So those two things together, the fact that Pokemon is putting out an official apology, largest IP in the world, they're not just going to pay lip service, they're going to follow through on it, they're going to find a way to make sure they're getting their products to consumers. Because in the end, guys, I mean, here's the thing. In the end, Pokemon wants to make the most money possible. Long and short of it, they want to make the most money possible. So why would, some of these conspiracy theories that they're purposely creating a shortage, or maybe this sort of fabricated scarcity, why would they do that? Because they can just make more and more money because they know people are going to buy it, right? So I don't fall into the conspiracy theories. I think they're going to do all in their power. They're going to ramp up their production. They're going to make sure that they get enough to the consumers because they make more money. Easy. Along with that, there is the first indication of them doing that by going to a double lottery system. So with all that being said, let's get to the sales right now. My number one sell right now is a Clay Burst booster box. Now you may think that I'm crazy for saying that. However, based upon what I'm seeing here, these prices are egregiously inflated. Egregiously inflated. Going for $190 a booster box, now I get it. You got the Iono in there, the waifu, which let me tell you right now, I didn't even know what waifu even meant. And now that I do, you guys need to get a life. Honestly, I'm just going to say that right now. Like, it's just weird. Okay. The PokéNav's old school, and the whole waifu thing. Okay. I'm not going to get any deeper into that. That's what's driving the price. And I'm going to actually get into that card here in just a second. But the Clay Burst booster box, long and short of it, I think it's very inflated. I think that Pokemon is going to reprint these. I think that there's going to be a much greater effort in getting these out to people in Japan, which will in turn, people will find a way to get those to the rest of the world as well, especially here in the United States. So I think there's going to be more of these, and I think that honestly, if you were able to get those at a decent price, let's say that, even 100, 120, 150, I would go ahead and sell those now, because it's probably going to be almost an arbitrage situation here where now that they're at 170, 190, even $200 a booster box, it's probably going to be your best opportunity for the near term. Now, if you hold those for the long term, again, it could be a potential hold situation here on those booster boxes. But I think, if you're looking to make quick money, Clay Burst booster box, I would go ahead and sell that now. I don't currently have any in my possession because I'm banking on this actually occurring of Pokemon getting this set out to the masses. So I imagine these are gonna fall drastically. And in turn, the Iono SAR 96 out of 71, the secret rare card, this thing is also going to fall, and we've actually already been seeing it. We've been seeing this price fall steadily on the open market, and I think as more of these booster boxes get printed out to the masses, yada, 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 I think that this card is going to fall as well. So if you have one in your possession, again, I think this is a sell right now. Sell it now before these booster boxes get reprinted, who knows, perhaps even into oblivion so that they satisfy everybody. But I think that Iono is probably a good sell right now. If you've got one, sell it now, because it's probably going to be the highest price point that it's at. If you're getting that graded right now, I mean, you're doing well. And I don't blame anybody for doing it, right? I don't blame anybody for selling it right now, because it happens every single time. Every single time a new set is released, especially now in Japan, if you get the best card in the set, I mean, right after release, you have certain outliers, right? You have like Moonbryon and, some other outliers. But typically right after release, that's the best time to sell a card. And if you can get it graded really quickly and back onto the open market, it's probably the best time to sell it within probably release to like that 2, 3, 4 year time frame. So yeah, there's my two sells for you. Clay Burst booster box and the Iono secret rare card as well. And that's pretty much it. guys. Those are the things that I'm really looking at right now. And I hope that, especially if you're new to this channel, and especially if you're new to this niche of investing in Pokemon cards, keeping a look on the Pokemon market in general, I hope that you start to see a little bit of a different theme here on this channel. Because what I've always tried to do, and those of you that have been around for a long time, you will understand, being a former financial advisor, being in finance for the majority of my life, my working life, I like to look at things in the macro. I like to look at the macrocosm of everything that goes on, because Pokemon does not exist in a vacuum. It exists among the larger socioeconomic, economic, all these different factors that lead to what a particular product and or card does in the near term as well as the long term. So if you like this type of content and you want to see more, I highly encourage you to go ahead and click that like button down below and click that subscribe button as well, because we like to do these videos on the regular, and I think it provides a lot of insight. Whether you decide to act on any of these or not is entirely your decision, but I like to give you guys some insight into the way that I think about investing in Pokemon, the way that I look at the overall market, and how I bring all of that together to give you a different point of view. Other than that, guys, I will see you all next time. My name is PokéNav. I'm here to help you navigate the world of Pokemon one video at a time. I will see you all in the next video.